Thousands of seriously ill coronavirus patients have now been released from U.S. hospitals. All carry permanent scars, but only 7 in the U.S. were saved by a rare double lung transplant. The procedure is complex and is only performed on people with terminal irreversible damage after the virus ravaged their lungs. CBS News chief medical correspondent Dr. Jon LaPook spoke exclusively with one of these survivors.
In mid-March, the early days of the pandemic in the U.S., coronavirus was not on Brian Kuhn's mind.
I started just a very little about it. And sure enough, though, the next day I heard about it. The next couple days, because I got hit with it.
The 62-year-old was working at his suburban Chicago auto shop when he hit a wall.
I just got back from lunch, and I got sick. Boom, I was done.
He would shake so bad, like a jackhammer. Not just like a shiver, but I mean a violently jerking shake.
Kuhn's wife, Nancy, rushed him to the hospital.
I don't remember anything for like a month and a half after that. The first time I woke up in the hospital, I couldn't breathe.
His lungs were severely damaged and unable to supply enough oxygen to his body, even with a ventilator. So doctors started ECMO, a life support treatment that uses a machine outside the body to add oxygen to blood. He was on it for 100 days.
I could feel it. My lung wasn't working. It's not moving when I breathe.
Alone in the hospital, he prepared his wife, daughters, and grandchildren for the worst.
I said, don't expect me to come home. My lungs are done. I ain't coming home. This is it.
Yeah.
Love you. Goodbye.
And then finally, what happened?
They said there's nothing else we can do. It's either get a transplant or die. I took a chance. And those guys were relentless. They wouldn't give up.
We provided the oxygen.
Those guys were Dr. Ankit Bharat and his transplant team at Northwestern Medicine.
This was the treatment of last resort for him. We told him, like, I cannot, say with certainty that he will get through this, but we have done it once before.
Just a month earlier, Dr. Bharat's team performed the first successful double lung transplant on a COVID patient in the U.S. She was 28 years old. Now it was Kuhn's turn.
When you opened up his chest in the operating room, what did his lungs look like?
In patients who have this COVID-19 lung injury and lung failure, they develop these punched out holes throughout the lungs. And Brian, he had big cavities. The lung was stuck to the heart, to the diaphragm, to the chest wall.
The day after the 10-hour surgery, doctors took Brian off the ventilator to test out his new lungs.
And of course, the first thing I did was go, wow, because I could breathe again.
What was that like?
It was something. It was good.
You could feel air moving in
yeah.
and moving out.
I'm moving out.
Is that okay? Okay, you getting tired?
Kuhn's has weeks of rehabilitation before he can go home. He's lost weight and muscle tone, but gained a new appreciation for the miracle of a simple breath of air.
Because like for a couple of days, I was breathing nonstop, 24/7. Like that. So when it's doing itself and you don't even know it, that's great.
I suspect you will never take breathing for granted again.
No, I won't.
Dr. Bharat says this rare treatment may be expanded to help a relatively small number of other severely ill COVID-19 patients. Meanwhile, after working for years as a self-employed mechanic, Kuhn's is now retired and told me, I got a little camper, maybe I'll go see the USA.
Wow, John, what a story. And those doctors are miracle workers. Thank you very much.